For a long time now, I've been fascinated by how the visual representation of Tasmanian Aboriginal people in colonial art and the events in history have influenced our understanding of our culture and our place in ourselves. And for me, this story starts with the arrival of Captain Cook at Adventure Bay on Bruny Island in 1777. The artist travelling with Cook was John Webber, and during that visit he created the first European images of my Aboriginal ancestors. One of those drawings could have been a sketch for a grand history painting. It showed Cook meeting with a group of Nyonene men. Cook is presenting one of the men with a medal on a chain. In the foreground is a small boat. It's the beginning of trade with the outside world. Those men didn't realise it, but Cook expected an exchange, his trinket for the land that had been their home for 1,000 generations. It was a key moment of dispossession and the beginning of terra nullius. I've visited this place many times, working with poet Pete Hay and artist Tom Nicholson, trying to understand the place. I've scoured the island looking for traces of the past that link my world today with the world of those Nyonene men, that day that Cook arrived. Webber's drawing shows the vegetation on the shore, but he misses the middens that were left behind by these men and their families. These are markers of their lives and their history on the island. He missed these markers of place, the site of sharing of meals, of births, of deaths, and the passing of millennia. Growing out of the midden are two massive bluegums. Their roots reach deep into the midden, past the shells and into the country itself. These trees were old enough to have witnessed Cook's arrival, and their gum nuts, full of seeds, now litter the beach and cover the middens. Those seeds have the potential to continue that story as the tides of history renew and reconfigure themselves. About 2 years after the story of Cook begins, it suddenly ends. Caught by Hawaiians in the act of kidnapping their king, Cook is killed. John Webber finally had his subject for a grand history painting. The drawing from Bruny Island was left unfinished, but there was a strange connection between the two. Cook seems caught in parallel moments, both of theft, one a beginning and the other an end. It was from these ideas and experiences that my work for partnershipping originated. I'd made artwork about Webber's drawing on Bruny Island before, enlarging it to somehow try to make it more real. This time I'd work with both images. The strangely similar posture of Cook could be juxtaposed on opposite sides of a sail, sprit-rigged like the 18th century boat in the foreground of Webber's unfinished sketch. The mast and the rigging would be made from the trunk of an ancient tea tree, decorated ceremonially with ochre, with traditional handmade string and spears for rigging. The figures would be drawn on the canvas tail with charcoal, the ever-present reminder of the millions of campfires that preceded Cook's brief history. The story of Cook's death, his contact with the Nyonene and the Hawaiians, his secret instructions to exploit these lands, and the legacy of disease and death that he left behind would be inscribed inside the boat as cargo, the burden of imperial history, a history that white Australia still doesn't want to hear. Charcoal from the drawn sails is also the material, along with sand, that binds shells into the archive of middens across Tasmania, testament to the fiction of terra nullius. The elements of these living places, Werrinas, Abalonian mussels, are mixed with sand and gum nuts from the two old trees at Cook's living place and rest quietly in the bottom of the boat, our most precious commodities of country and our evidence of place. This artwork is really about what I do as a historian, gathering together evidence and interpretations from the past and the present, and sending these off on a voyage to other places and into the future so that our stories won't be lost. Having the opportunity to do this as part of the partnershipping project is also an important way of acknowledging that our place here in Tasmania is made up of many stories. And my short history of Cook is just one of them.